Hi, my name's Tim. This is my YouTube channel where I like to talk about things that I enjoy. One of those things is reading, and I've discovered on YouTube that there's a lot of things called book tags, and one of those is the Booktube Newbie Tag. So, seeing as I am very new to all of this stuff, I thought I'd do that. I've got my cup of tea because I'm fulfilling all British stereotypes, and let's go. Question number one: why did you start this channel? So I started this channel for a multitude of reasons. One of them is that I really enjoy reading and I like talking about reading and I'd like to engage with other people and talk about reading. Two is I would like to get better at presenting and public speaking, and this is a lot of practice for that. I want to get better at talking without lots of ums, ers, ands, so's, likes, those thinking connecting words. I'd like to get better at that and be able to control my breath, like I'm just running out of breath right now. A third reason is that I have written a book. I would like to publish that book by myself. I'd like to self-publish that book, and I would like to engage the community to find out the best way of publishing that book, to maybe get more people to look at my book and buy it and enjoy it, and engaging with the community is a way to do that. I'm not going to build a platform, that's not my day job, but just be more noticeable so my book doesn't, when I eventually do release it, doesn't get lost in the ether of the Amazon marketplace. So I would say those are the three main reasons, and I'm actually really enjoying it. So I'm enjoying it. So yeah. Question number two: what are some fun and unique things you can bring to Booktube? So one thing is that if you look at Booktube as a total, you see there are lots of American teenage girls or girls in their early 20s. It's very Gen Z. I'm not any of those things. I'm British, I'm a man, and I'm in my, I would say now mid-30s. I'm hardcore millennial, so I think I have different viewpoints on things. I've also got two children, and I think I read to them. Me and my wife read to them every night, and they're 4 and 6 and they're starting to get more into reading. So I think that's kind of another aspect of something that may be different from other booktube channels. What are you most excited? Question number 3. What are you most excited for about this channel? I am most excited to record my thoughts, engage with the community, find people who are a like mind to myself, find more book recommendations, and having a good time and having fun. That's what I'm most excited about. Question 4. Why do you love reading? I love reading because it stretches you, it takes you to another place, another world, another character, things that are outside your worldview. I enjoy it because I find it relaxing. I find it really relaxing. And I think the more stories that you witness, that you digest, your vocabulary improves, your view of the world improves, and I just think it makes you more of an interesting person. That's why I like reading. What book or series got you into reading? That's question number 5. So for me, it's a book series that I read lots of, and I haven't really seen that many people talk about it. It's the Redwall books by Brian Jakes. I always read it as Jacques, but it's Brian Jakes. First book is called Redwall, and I read 15 of those. I think he published a few more afterwards, after I stopped reading it, but I just kind of grew out of them, that's what it was. But I found they are books set in a world of anthropomorphic mice, rodents, rabbits, badgers, and then foxes and stoats and weasels. And it's about Redwall Abbey, and it's about big battles, and there's a very long timeline of the descendants of characters turning up in later books. You also see the fact that, for example, badgers live a lot longer, so one badger may see several generations of mice. And I absolutely loved those books. I read them a lot at the end of primary school into secondary school. So that's what got me into reading. Question 6. When did you start reading? So I read lots when I was younger. I remember in year 7, they had a reading challenge, and they said, how many pages could you read in a period of time? And I read lots. I read like 5,000 pages in a month. And I won the challenge, and because I was year 7 and did not know better, they were like, how many pages? The head teacher, someone has read so many more pages than everyone else. Like, an astonishing amount of pages. How big do you think that number is? And I was like, is it 5,000? And they were like, exactly. So who's the winner? Come on up. And it was me, and people were like, what a tool. And that's, yeah, I learned that lesson. But I was really into reading. And I read lots of different kinds of books. And then I went to university and I discovered alcohol. And I didn't take that many books to university with me, and I got out the habit of it. So I would read minimal books. I'd read a handful of books, if that. And then I discovered Goodreads, and I got more into reading probably about 5-6 years ago, and was almost reading about 30 to 40 books a year, really going. And then 2 years ago, we adopted, and we got 2 kids. So we went from 0 kids to 2 kids, like that. And it completely changes your life. So over the past 2 years, I've read a lot less. Just through getting into new habits and or falling out of the habit and getting a new way of living your life. You now have 2 little people that you have to look after, and it takes a lot of energy. But this year, I have really got into reading again, and my kids love reading, and I want to keep going with it. So that's one reason why I'm doing this channel. And so my reading journey has been a bit up and down, and that's okay. Question number 7. What questions would you ask your favourite booktubers? So I don't follow a huge amount of booktube content, and for a reason that a lot of them I don't relate to. They don't read the books that I am interested in reading. But one channel that I did notice caught my attention was the StoryTube channel. They're quite new, and they're both Irish but also Spanish. So I'll be interested in just finding out what their background is, because they seem to be dual nationality, and it's quite interesting. Question 8. What challenges did you think starting a booktube channel will be the hardest to overcome? Sticking with it, I imagine. Being consistent in uploads, being consistent in thoughts, making sure that it stays fun, that it doesn't become a chore, and thinking of new content and being able to fit it in around my life. I think those will be the challenges. I'm not super interested in growing the channel to be super massive. This isn't really for that. It's just for me to enjoy. So, question number 9. Where do you read? I generally read in bed before going to sleep. That's where I do probably about 75% of my reading. I also try and take a book into work and try and read on my lunch break if I can have a lunch break. And I also read a lot on holiday. I read planes, and train journeys are very good times for reading for me. I cannot read in the car. I get really, really sick if I read in the car. So I do not read there. Question 10. What kind of books do you like to read? So I've seen a couple of tags in this. People go, oh, I like to read lots of kind of things. And then they list like 5-6 authors all in the same genre. I like to read. I read a lot of children's books, not only for reading to my children, but also I find them interesting and engaging. And I read a fair amount of non-fiction. I try to read a few non-fiction books every year. I've got, over the past couple of years, I've got very interested in kind of polar exploration with Scott and Shackleton and things like that. I read a lot of Disney spin-off books, Twisted Tales, there's Marvel books, the villains books, things like that. Let me think, what else do I know? I read a lot of, I read anything that's written by Kieran Millward Hargrave, because she's a good friend, and she's a tremendous author, so I'm always willing to support her. Any book that she comes out, I'm looking to buy. I love fantasy stories. I would like to read more fantasy stories. I like science fiction. I don't read a ton of science fiction. I'd like to read more of that. Some things that I'm not super interested in reading would be romance. It's not my thing. I'm not a huge fan of crime fiction. Just doesn't kind of grab my interest. What else? What else? What else? What else? Young adult, I can read. I do read quite a bit of young adult. I'm not. Whenever I read a young adult book, I quite often wish it was an adult book because the young adultness kind of takes it away from me a little bit. But young adult contemporary is a book that I will likely never read. As a genre, I will never read. Well, I'll never say never is a very strong word. But yeah, I think that's about it. And then the final question, question 11, is what does your book collection look like? I'm not going to show you that today. I'm going to show you that another time. So my name's been Tim Burbage. If you enjoyed my content so far, this is a new setup for me. I'm filming this in my kitchen, and we'll see how that goes. But no, thank you very much. If you got any answers to your questions, these questions, put them in comments below. Please like and subscribe. I really appreciate it. I'm going to try and comment on every other comment that I've ever had. So far it's been one. I mean, I'm exploding. It's going to my head. But no, thank you very much. And I still need to figure an outro. Bye.